The ocean is a mistress to me. I have a really nice relationship, a really healthy relationship that helps me to feel really free. Free in my spirit and free with nature and the planet, the whole thing. It's just a release, and I feel free and I feel good and I feel connected and very grounded when I surf. It helps transform my days. It helps me to go forward. You want to be normal again. To be able to relax and to be able to have no guilt and to be able to think okay about yourself. Because what keeps coming up is, if you have killed or you've seen situations, and in my personal situations in the first Gulf War, and I was in a tank regiment, so we were taking out lots of different positions with the tanks, and my nightmares consist of firing upon Iraqis, even their light vehicles, their personnel trucks, and them jumping off, in flames, and so and I caused that. I aimed my gun and took them out because that was my job to do. But that was my job to do. That little sentence there doesn't come into it. You just think about what you've done and how guilty you feel about killing other people. The memories will always be there. Around 6 years ago, I think 5-6 years ago, I was diagnosed with PTSD. Things happen in a conflict zone. You take life. You're being woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and all your bed lockers thrown out the window. You're being, and then out on the drill square, and then in the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're going for runs. So things are changing. There's a huge emotional and spiritual shift. It's like a loss of your soul, that your soul has gone and it's sat there beside you, when things go very wrong in conflicts. Because you have the guilt and the depression and the anxiety and the identity confusion with yourself. You're still a soldier, you're in civilian life, you're struggling in civilian life, so I want to be a soldier again, I want to be back in the desert. Things were simple there, they were so basic and simple, rather than what's going on here with council tax and paying rent, or if you're on the dole, going down and looking at Job Centre Plus and filling out loads of forms you don't understand, so things are complicated. So it's a very big identity confusion with PTSD as well. 2 nights ago we got at Land's End, we've got fireworks twice a week now, so the fireworks go up and so on. I think that was Tuesday night, and then I couldn't sleep all night, so listen to the fireworks. I was straight back into Iraq when all the things were happening there, and the fireworks weren't fireworks. They were it's the air raids and then us going in and all the firefights at night. So I can't do fireworks night, but those fireworks go off at Land's End, and then that knocks onto some flashbacks for me and not being able to sleep the whole night on Tuesday night. So and that heightened sense of alertness, and then also things are slowed right down in Civvy Street compared to being on edge all the time. And then you look for things in life and look for things around where you can still get that adrenaline rush. For me, surfing bigger waves around the world kind of filled in a little bit of a gap. I had an AK-47, Kalashnikov, that I kept up in the loft for years and years after the first Gulf War. And every week I'd bring it down and I'd clean that AK, and it was a really nice piece of kit. And a lot of guys do that. It's you're adjusted in here in basic training, and then it's intensified throughout your whole career in the army as well. And then you come to a stage where then you go to war, and you go to a conflict zone, and then you do certain things. Now that can't be taken, just cut out of here.
I always kind of had an arty side with pencils and stuff, but I'd never painted because I was always frightened. I used to draw something and then spoil it with paint. Every painting's got a story behind it. I can look at it and I know why I've done it, because the painting, everything comes in. I get an idea in my head, but the ideas come from how I'm feeling at the time. I did my basic training in a place called Shrewsbury, and then I went from there to Gibraltar, which was a nice easy posting, and then we went back to the UK, and it was while I was in the UK I got sent to Northern Ireland, and it was like, Northern Ireland's a bit like an old version of Afghanistan, right? It's just constant pressure, you don't know where it's going to come from. And at the time I didn't think anything of it, I was just doing a job and that. It took a long time to realise that I wasn't behaving normally, I can remember friends, I had a friend over there who got shot, and I can remember we were on the Falls Road, and because he had been shot in the chest and that, they were trying to get him to the hospital, but all the black taxis and that, which was like the IRA, blocked all the roads so we couldn't get him there. I remember all that, and I can remember a constant tension, all the time, and I think that's where that anxiety comes from, because it's like almost a constant feeling of anxiety all the time, waiting for something to happen, and I think that's actually worse than something happening. I've got sort of several flashbacks. I was driving a Land Rover, and this bike pulled out, and I pulled out to miss it, and ended up turning the Land Rover over, and my friend who was in there with me, who I joined up with, broke his back. So so I see that all the time. I used to just get like a flashback of the accident on its own, and I could smell diesel, and that's how I usually start, because it turned over and over and over and there was diesel everywhere. I would usually start the flashback by I'd be going, I can smell diesel, and then I'd start living the accident now, and I didn't know what it was for a long time. This was like the battalion I was in. It was like 2nd Battalion, the Light Infantry, and all the pride I'd had, about the flag and the MOD. It was about the oath of allegiance that I'd taken, took the King's shilling and all that. And then when I came out, there was no, there was no sort of duty of care, and I ended up getting this illness that was tearing its way through everything, which left me in a mess. And and then I started getting a bit of pride again as a veteran. I started doing a bit of painting and stuff, and then started getting a bit of pride about who I was, being Cornish and all that sort of stuff. But there's still a little tear because I'm still a little bit ill, and it still hurts. I did this thing, painting, and I thought I'll make it a bit cartoony, so people can understand, and so I can show myself in a different light, So I did the old face on it, made it long and miserable, and stuck my berry on there. And then I started writing on it things that were wrong with me, and all this stuff came out. And then I had him. That was me with the cat badge on it, which was my Northern Ireland cat badge, because we used to have silver cat badges, but when we went to Northern Ireland we had black ones. And I did sort of looking gaunt like that. I wanted it to look like that, for people to see. I was trying to explain PTSD, I suppose. If I went out and lost my leg, I'd get a lot of empathy and people understand what's wrong, and you get a mental illness and people think that that you're a nutcase, when really all it is an illness inside. That doesn't make you any worse than anybody else. It just it's really painful, and I was just trying to put across. I'm just all my artwork. I'm trying to shock people really, and shock them into realising how bad it is. And that just with a little bit of understanding, they can see. They'll be able to see. They'll be able to see you, sort of thing. I don't know if they ever will, but hopefully. I met Rich up at Combat Stress in 2008, and it was quite funny because I was, being my normal self up there, just joking with everybody and taking the mick and that. And Rich walked in. He didn't have any shoes on, a pair of jeans, a pack on his back. And I said something to him, taking the mick or something, and me and him hit it off straight away, good mates, And he started telling me he hadn't started surf action at the time, but he was about to go to America to look at this Operation Amped or something. And I saw him when he came back from it, and he was going, "Hey, I'm going to start this thing."
Charity's kind of gone forward quite fast, so we're in the third year, so it's been going here 2-3 years, and it's grown hugely now, and we're even looking at land. Hopefully we're going to get a good deal on some land, and then produce Cornwall's own and only recovery centre for combat veterans and families, and I think and that may possibly 2 years down the line. So within 5 years, suddenly we've gone from taking a few guys, 6 guys surfing, and helping them with their trauma, to having a huge 12-acre recovery centre that's all about relaxation, getting in touch with their emotions, and spirituality really as well, and connecting that to the ocean, to the beach, and to the outdoors and natural environment. With the surfing, it's great because we change the state of mind, and we can get them smiling, and then we can break down barriers, get good rapport and trust, and then get to the root cause of the problem, and then start to find out where are the problems, where do the problems really lie.
I think the reason we surf, or the reason we go to the beach, is because there's something about that environment that just makes you feel more relaxed, less stressed. You know, you can go run down the end of a beach and shout if you want and no one can hear you. You know, you can be out in the water. I do it. I think probably a lot of people do is feeling stressed, you can just dive underwater and you can shout and scream and no one hears you. And it's great, it's a great release. So that the whole beach environment and the coastal environment and the ocean, there's that connection with nature that definitely sort of makes you feel like you're in a greater place and a beneficial place.
When I go out and actually do surf, right, I get a lot out of it. I usually end up putting the surfboard back on the beach and just going in and body surfing because I'm too fat to get on that board really, right? But I enjoy it, you know. And when we have people down who want, like, you know, who've got injuries and stuff like that, then I go out with Rich and that and stop them drowning and stuff like that, you know, and keep them safe. You know, and I enjoy that, you know. So whether I go in there and flop around, I don't have to be like the world's best surfer. If I go in there and I can only get to my knee in kneeboard, then that's what I can do, you know. Doesn't mean to say I have to be out there like some expert.
So surfing's not for everyone, you know. A couple of guys that do, they're not really beach people, they're not really interested in going in the water for a variety of reasons. There might be something that they have issues with sand because of things they did in the desert. But it's not for everyone. Surfing is not for everyone, so that's why we've introduced, you know, you've got the art project, we do walking, we're going to be starting doing photography, more photography stuff this month. But it's great, the beach is just a nice environment to be around, so, you know, we have people that come down the beach just to watch and get as much enjoyment out of watching as they do of being part of it. It's just really the environment, it's nice to be in that coastal environment.
I want to teach veterans like myself, right, to paint and to become confident through painting and art. You know, not just painting, but art. And I'd like my goal is to eventually have a national veterans gallery where veterans can come in and exhibit their work and sell it and stuff like that. You know, like they've got in America. And that's what I want. That would make me happy. You know, I'm not after a lot of money. I'm not after. I just want happiness. That's all. You know, all that is part of surf action. You know, that's something I want to do with surf action.
When you go in the services, whatever service you go in, you become like this brotherhood, like kind of that's like a thing called Band of Brothers, and this whole thing. There's all different types of love, you know, and the Greeks talked about all kinds of different love, and agape love is one of the most, you know, love for your sister and brother and your family. Well, this type of agape love is so strong when you have comrades in the services, because you're responsible for their life and they're responsible for yours, and there's an unseen camaraderie there where you protect the other guy. And some days there's some big rough waves, you know, like today out there we couldn't even go in the sea, but some days are really calm, small, easy waves. But whatever situation we go down to, the big days, the small days, we help each other out on the surfboards, as in life back here. The old ancient guys, even now, hold kahunas. The kahunas, they're the leaders of the tribe, like in Hawaii. They would be the spiritual men of the tribe, and they would teach this to every member in the tribe. And even nowadays, if a guy's got a problem with someone else or a friend, he may ask him, go up and say, if they have a problem in the past, he may go up and actually say, are you pono? Now, pono would mean, can we forgive? And then if they say I'm pono, pono means that the situation that they both had a problem with would never ever be allowed to be brought up in the future, that they become friends again. And Ho'oponopono is actually using a mantra every day to say that I forgive you I'm sorry. I thank you and I love you. So please forgive me. I'm sorry. I thank you. I love you. To yourself every day, every morning.